Greetings and welcome to another Warhammer 40,000 Kill Team video, where today I'm going over the year in review for Kill Team and myself. But before we get into things, please remember to like and subscribe as well as comment. Let me know what you thought of today's video. What do you think of the year of 2024 for Kill Team? And remember, I've got a Discord you can check out for free in the episode description below, and a fit link on M Games, and a fit link and discount code at Crossfire Games, and a Patreon if you want to give me some more support as well. But let's get on with the video. So yeah, in a bit of a, it's the end of the year. This video is going out on the 31st of December. Why not just go through the year of Kill Team? Because 2024 has been pretty wild. So I'll be going through each month as well as a little bit of my own stuff at the end. So let's get into it. So starting off in January, now while it was previewed in December of 2023, starting off we had the release of Kill Team Salvation. So this was actually season 3 for the last edition of Kill Team, which gave us Striking Scorpions and the Scout Squad Kill Team, which were really, really nice. We also got Beta Decima. So Beta Decima was a thing, and you may be shocked to believe it, but it was actually worse than it is now. It was kind of disappointing because everyone was really hyped to like, oh look, platforms. Unfortunately, we did not get jungle. We just got our oil rig in a small ocean. And unfortunately, it wasn't that good. We also got the Beta Decima approved ops, where they gave us competitive maps for Beta Decima, and we quickly realized that wouldn't work. So unfortunately, while the teams were pretty fun, we finally figured out, oh wow, they really can make a team of just like no specialists technically work with the Blades of Cain. But the terrain was a bit of a letdown. The scouts were kind of just like okay, and it was still a really nice release because what they did is they sold the teams separately, like together as a package, and they left the whole terrain separately, so you had the option of buying whichever, and everything still sold out. But that was an interesting way to start the new season. And also we had LVO. So LVO set the record for having the biggest Kill Team attendance with 137 players. And if you don't know, LVO is the Las Vegas Open. Happens every year at Las Vegas. So it was 137 players. I think I finished 17th out of 137. And we had, Adrian won it, which then helped him win ITC. Finally decrowning Ace, who was the 2-time in a row champion for Kill Team. So we had America effectively beat Spain, and LVO was pretty fun. It was run by Dakota from Squad Games, and they streamed it. And conveniently, they're running LVO in 2025, which is, I believe, just 3 weeks away. And currently they have 163 players. So they've easily smashed their previous record and are still the world's largest Kill Team event. So that was pretty hype for January. Then February was a bit light. We had the free salvation rules in terms of the Blades of Cain and the Strike Squad, the Scout Squad rules dropping for free on Warhammer Community. That was pretty nice because we were like, oh, wow, we got free rules for Kill Team. Maybe they're going to repeat dropping free rules for all the teams continuing with the 3rd season of Kill Team. Unfortunately, they did not do that, but we were hopeful at the time. And also, the biggest thing outside of the free rules that happened in February was the return of stats. We managed to get the stats back with my new stats man, Smiles Lies Gunfire, after, my brief 6-month hiatus. And we were able to look over all of the stats. We were able to start off with Worlds when we stopped doing stats and see. It was funny because if you remember from the last World Championships of Warhammer, they buffed Felgor Ravager, and the stat shows that Felgor were actually at a near 70% win rate for 3 months after they got nerfed and were buffed while overperforming. But we had the stats return, and since then we've been continuing with the stats, and more people have started doing the stats after. But yeah, the main thing in February was free salvation rolls as well as the stats returning. Then in March, we had Adepticon. So Adepticon is one of the other big American conventions that happens every year in March in Chicago area. I think they've moved, but they're still near Chicago. And the cool thing about Adepticon is they do regular big Kill Team events. I believe this year was won by Orion, and I think it was like 96 players. But they also do the Kill Team doubles. So they started in 2023 and they've continued in 2024, where 2 players versus against another 2 players, and The doubles event is super popular. It sold out last year, sold out this year, and I think when tickets go up again for 2025, it's probably going to sell out again. So if you want a big event and you're near America or able to travel to America, Adepticon's a great place for Kill Team. Then we also had the Termination preview, which had the Mandrakes and Nemesis Claw Kill Team, which was pretty hype. And we also got a balanced data slate, which didn't, I mean, it shaked up the meta a little bit, but not in the ways we were hoping. But it sets the stage for that we do get balanced data slates effectively every 3 months. And then in March, we also had Termination previewed, which was the third box. So we managed to get our sights on the Brood Brothers and the Harnkin Jaegers. We had an interesting preview video where the Jaegers sounded very, very strong, but then also the Brood Brothers sounded not balanced at all. But we were like, well, you know, they're just doing previews. How accurate would it be? And that's for another month to come. Then in April, we got Nightmare fully released. So we finally had the Nemesis Claw and Mandrakes in our hands. Mandrake started to be really popular at first, and then people quickly realized how to play around them because the Mandrakes were quite unique. They were another fixed box team. It turns out the operatives with the fancy top knots were actually specialists because we thought it was just going to be another Blades of Cain, but it wasn't. And the Mandrakes are still to this day very tricksy, but were way more powerful in season 3 of the last edition. And Nemesis Claw were incredibly powerful, showing like, wow, that's how elite teams should have been, at least back in last edition. And it was really nice having proper Night Lords, well, as full models and then released in Kill Team. It was a really fun kit, and it was also, I managed to get featured on Warhammer Community with my Alpha Legion Nemesis Claw, which was really neat because I haven't been on Warcom in years. So that was really cool. But that was actually pretty much it for April. The only other notable thing in April was my birthday, but that's not really a Kill Team thing. Then in May, it's technically a Kill Team release because it was done by the Kill Team devs and Games Workshop gave it for me to review. But it was a Darktide board game, which had the Blooded in it, some Poxwalkers, and then one Kazakin, an Ogrin, a Psyker, and then a Flamer Lady with a chainsaw. And Darktide, it was a good board game. The only problem is like you needed glues and clippers, which didn't come in the box, so it wasn't as good. But it was effectively all the Kill Team rules. And then as we later found out in the year, it was basically the prototype for solo and co-op mode, because you can basically play it by yourself against AI opponents, you know, like computer controlled, but it's a board game. So that was actually pretty neat in terms of looking back. And then I also ran my first Kill Team tournament back in May. It was in Darksphere. I actually ran a lot of tournaments back when I was doing Warhammer Underworlds, but I managed to get, I think it was nearly 40 players for a 2-day event, which was pretty cool. And that was really fun running it in London. Had a lot of prizes and everyone really enjoyed it. And then we also had the release of the World Team Championships MDF tournament by Terrain by Bandua. So the WTC has been running for a long time. It was set up by the 40k players where countries make a team of players and they play to face against each other. And we finally had, because Kill Team was going to be in it, we finally had dedicated MDF terrain for WTC for Kill Team. And that was pretty neat because at that point, it was basically the best terrain we had. It was really competitive and balanced, and it added the most important thing to the game, windows. Windows are so incredibly important because Octarius was getting incredibly stale. Then in June, we had Termination released. So this was the third box for Kill Team, the third season. We thought there was going to be a fourth box, but turned out there wasn't. It was the last box. And as I said, we had the Brood Brothers and Jaegers. Jaegers turned out to be pretty interesting, but quite limiting. Still good, but not amazing. Just a new way to play Leagues of Votann. Brood Brothers, yeah, they were clearly broken. Like, they were way too strong. And, you know, everyone was like, maybe they're just over-exaggerating in the previews. Unfortunately, they were under-exaggerated in the previews. Turns out a Broodlord was incredibly powerful, but more powerful was also running the Magus or the Primus. And Brood Brothers it was really funny because we also got a balanced data slate that month that finally nerfed Vet Guard. But it felt like, oh, we've nerfed Vet Guard, and now here's Vet Guard 2.0. So that was an interesting experience because that balanced data slate was actually really good. It rebalanced most of the game, except for the termination stuff. So we were kind of just going like, Brood Brother meta. But then I also won my first golden ticket of the year. I played in Bristol, which was the UKTC for Bristol, which was really, really nice. Managed to win a golden ticket there. And then I also ran the Goonhammer Open for Kill Team in the UK. So this was the first Goonhammer Open in the UK for Kill Team. And I'm doing them again in March and May for 2025. But that was super, super fun. I managed to stream it. So that was really, really good. I was joined by Scrivo and we were able to stream and shoutcast it. And it was a super fun event. I managed to give away a lot of prizes and everyone had a ton of fun up in Leicester. Then in July, nothing much really happened. It was kind of a very quiet month. Well, we just had a balanced data slate. We just had Termination released. And we were kind of going into a bit of a lull. So nothing really happened in July outside of just general tournaments. Then in August was the big month. So first off, we had the World Team Championships. So as I said, this is the yearly event, which is generally 40k, but this year was the first year of Kill Team. So we had generally, I think it was like 8 countries submitting at least 1 team each. The UK submitted 2, Poland submitted 2, so a lot of countries submitted 2, and I think France and Spain submitted 3, which was nice. First and second were Spain's first and second team, and then third place was Poland. Well, one of the Polish teams. But otherwise, WTC looked like a lot of fun and everyone had a lot of fun because it was basically the biggest national team turnout, because team tournaments are a lot of fun because instead of just a one-on-one tournament where it's like you versus everyone else, when you come together as a team, it really changes how you play and promotes like you picking the correct combination of teams and picking the right matchups. So it'll be, hopefully, I think it is continuing for 2025. So it'll be interesting to see how that progresses. And then the most important thing that happened in August, we had Nova and the reveal of Hivestorm / the 3rd edition of Kill Team. And that was incredibly hype. Nova is always a good event, and they had the Nova GT, which I actually placed second in, and it was won by Orion in the Galapox first second triad. But it was a really fun event, and we had the Kill Team Hivestorm preview where Alexa and Adrian played on the preview stream, which I think got tons of views. And they showed off the Vespid and the Tempestus Aquilons. It was really, really cool, and it was really nice to see how Games Workshop fully launched the new edition of Kill Team. They treated it like a big game and were very clear and started the weeks of previews they had for the new edition because, well, it was hype. We got to see a lot of rules very early, and it was the best way to start off the new edition. Then in September, as the previews for the new edition continued along with Hivestorm, we also had the reveal of classification. So, you know, classification is basically rotation. So a team lasts for 3 years and then they get removed from the classified list, and then they remain on sale for 3 years on the Kill Team, then they get removed. You also have, well, they also revealed a lot of teams were classified for 1 year, which are Yassified teams. Classified teams for 1 year, Yassification. But we also had the reveal of the Kill Team app and all the free rules. So all the faction rules, and then it turned out, unfortunately, not the core rules, only the light versions of the rules were free. But since it's been released, all the factions rules have been free, which is kind of what we expected when they released the Salvation rules for free. And that's been great, because even when it's come to new releases, everyone's got their faction rules for free. So now it's actually way more easier to get into the game. But yeah, September was just a huge month of previews. Well, huge month of previews for the new edition, which was really, really hype. Then in October, we had the full release of Hivestorm, along with the first wave of reboxed Kill Teams. This was a bit of a downer because while the Kill Teams were reboxed in new Kill Team boxes, also having card tokens, they also went up in price, likely due to the card tokens. So that was not as good. And then we also had Brutal and Cunning previewed that month, which was, everyone was like, oh wow, it's not stopping. We went from like kind of a mini drought of content to now drowning in Kill Team stuff, which was amazing. And we also had the starter set released, which was the Space Marines, well, the Angels of Death Kill Team, which was the relaunch of Intercession. And then we also had the Plague Marine Kill Team released in the starter set form. And to be fair, that was a really, really good starter set. It's only £67.50 and is actually still out of stock at the moment. It's really, really good and a great way to get into Kill Team. And we were just kind of getting overwhelmed. And speaking of overwhelming, I also released a faction guide for every faction, which made me lack a lot of sleep. But it seems a lot of you appreciated it, which was really, really nice. Then in November, we technically had the full release of the Plague Marine rules because everyone was like, these starter rules, these are the full rules? And we were like, no, I'm sure we'll get the full rules. And we did get the full rules of the Plague Marines. And they were very good. And everyone was happy. But we also had the first wave of FAQs, which basically just fixed a lot of issues that we didn't have in the last edition, but did in the new edition, which is great. And they just fixed Super Conceal mostly. And we had the World Championships of Warhammer. So this is the yearly Warhammer Olympics, as Games Workshop likes to put it, where people play for their countries and try and do as best as possible. So once again, I played for Wales because I'm half Welsh. And I had my Filipino flag because I'm half Filipino. But we had 96 players at Worlds, which was really, really cool. And in the end, Dan managed to win it really nicely. He won, well, he came first with his Warp Coven. And then we had someone else from Spain, who I forget their name, who came second. But that was really cool. That was a really fun tournament. It was streamed on Squad Games, so they managed to show to the world what new competitive Kill Team was like. It was a interesting tournament because it had flaws, but nonetheless, outside of the flaws at the event, it was really fun and everyone had a really good time. It was just great seeing everyone get together and trying to, because you have to remember, this is effectively 6 weeks after the full edition was released. And it's still recent, so, you can see all the content pumped out by all the content creators about the event. Then in December, we had Brutal and Cunning released, so we finally got to see how the Wrecker Crew and Ratlings turned out. As a surprise to everyone, Ratlings turned out to be very, very good because they can just take free Ogryns, and that fixes all their problems. The only issue is Ogryns don't come in the box. But in this box, we also got some new fortification terrain to allow us to play with bunkers and walls to kind of play new thematic missions, because with Hivestorm, you got to do airdrop missions, and then in Brutal and Cunning, you got to do bunker assaults, which was really nice. We also got the Wrecker Crew, which are effectively the replacements for the Commandos, and it turns out they really like to blow stuff up as tank busters. They get hyped up with Wrecker points, and they just love explosions. They're like Michael Bay incarnate. It's really, really cool. The funniest one is definitely Tank Hammer Dude, who can blow himself up and end everyone in combat if he wanted to. And everyone just has rockets. They have rockets or hammers, and they're just a really fun team. They just like rolling lots of dice, and the more sixes they roll, the better they are. Whereas the Ratlings are just very, very short and can take free Ogryns. But regardless, it was actually a really nice release. And now we are currently in limbo. We were waiting for the balanced data slate, but it hasn't come. But overall, it's been a great year for Kill Team. So overall, for the year of 2024, yeah, it's been really good for Kill Team. It's the best year ever. Not only did Games Workshop step up its kind of presentation when it came to Season 3 of the last edition, they kind of made it a bit more customer friendly, being able to buy boxes and not being forced to buy the terrain with it, which they kind of continued with the new edition. And then while we had a bit of a drought over summer, they did kind of make up for it by bombarding us with so much of the new edition. And from the way they've handled the new edition, it looks like we're going to have, 3 more boxes. So we'll have the core set and 3 boxes, which is really, really good. They've already added a ton of kill teams. They've treated us like a full 40k game, like, people like me have always been saying. They've told us that's how they want to treat Kill Team. And now we can see it. We've got a Kill Team app. We've got 3 rules. We're exploding, in terms of player numbers and even social media engagement. It's really, really good. Events have been stellar this year. They've gotten better. They've had more players. As I said, LVO broke numbers with 136 players. Now they have 163. That's not even final. Adepticon had 96 players. Nova had more than last year with nearly 80 players. Every tournament has effectively improved year on year, or as the time's gone on. There's more people playing, there's more people painting, there's more people getting into Kill Team, which is just great. And as I said, Games Workshop has pretty much been on the ball and really pushing Kill Team, which is great to see, you know, because at the moment, you know, a lot of people are just like, oh, it's mainly 40k and Age of Sigmar, but you know, Kill Team's been treated very well. We're effectively a main game now, a mainstay of the World Championships of Warhammer as well. It's really good to see, and they're just pumping out so many events and support for the game. The only downside is we're just waiting for a balanced data slate. Please give us the balanced data slate. Balance isn't great at the moment. Please give us the balanced data slate now. I really need it. We all need it. Just give it. But outside of that, it's great. Like, it's really good. We've had so many, even like official videos from Games Workshop for Kill Team. They've pushed it really hard. And to be fair, this is the best edition we've had. It's so much fun. The balance isn't great at the moment, but after 1 or 2 more balanced data slates, the game will be like really solid, because the core fundamentals are great, the new way to play is great, and yeah, it's just been so good for Kill Team. For myself, this has been the best year I've made content, just from a personal standpoint, as well as just with Kill Team. Like, the faction guides really did make me almost go insane. I think I was averaging some nights only 3 hours sleep to get all these faction guides out. I also joined with Goonhammer effectively, and working with Goonhammer has been really cool. Being able to like bounce ideas off of them and help with their own Kill Team content. They've been really supportive and help boosting me, and it's just really nice, you know. Where like always been able to read Goonhammer, but never been involved, thinking I would, and now I am. And yeah, it's just really nice to see how the channel's grown. I'm nearly at 17,000 subs. Like I hit 10k this year, and I was like, oh cool, I didn't expect Kill Team would boost me that much, but we'll see. And now I'm nearly at 20k, so it's like, yeah, you know, I appreciate people viewing my content and that it's been useful and helpful, and I'll just try and continue doing that. You know, I know sometimes people think I'm a bit too negative, but I still love the game, and if I didn't love it, I wouldn't make content about it. And I try and be helpful and informative. So hopefully that continues and you'll keep enjoying what I put out, because I like helping people. That's my thing. But yeah, it's been really great. 2024 has been amazing. As I said, looking to 2025, starting off, we've got LVO 2025, which is 163 players. We should have the balanced data slate in January at some time. And then we just have to wait. I mean, I'm sure at LVO, they're going to show off the next box, which would be really cool. That might drop technically February, so that'd be, or March, one of those months. And yeah, as I said, once we get the balanced data slates rolling, after 1 or even 2 balanced data slates, I think the game will just be perfect. The moment elites, well, certain elites are very much overperforming along with other teams, and I'm sure we'll be all weaned down. But yeah, I'm very hyped. I'm really hyped. 2024 was so good. So I can't wait for 2025. But, you know, that's pretty much it for me today. Please remember to like and subscribe as well as comment. Let me know what you thought of today's video, and let me know what you thought of the year for Kill Team. Do you agree or disagree? What were your highlights or low points? And remember, I've got Discord you can check out for in the episode description below, an affiliate link at Lemon Games, an affiliate link and discount code at Crossfire Games, and a Patreon if you want to give me some more support. And I'm just going to quickly shout out my patrons. So for my adepts of the crit, I have Zombie Businessman, Tom, Supercow, Sam, Nick, Mercenary Q, Mr. Meatwad, Lucas, John Thomas, Jeremiah, Graham, Fangzu, Draken, Dave Meetsworld, Darcy, Dada Goldens, Chris, and then for my veterans of the crit, I have Samja and Riot and Mark. So thank you so much for all your support. It really means a lot to me and helps support the channel. But yeah, I have a lot of content to work through, especially as I have LVO coming up, and it's just like, you know, so I'm behind with a lot of things. I have a lot of product reviews I have to do, and other things. I'm painting a lot of stuff because I need to paint. But you know, just like once I've got LVO out of the way, I can relax a bit, competitively speaking. But no matter what happens in 2025 for Kill Team, remember, you always have a chance to stay hopeful and win, as long as you can roll a crit.